Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a new series for you, and this is actually something I'm really excited about. I came up with this idea when I was decluttering, and I'm really hoping that you guys are going to enjoy it. So as I was decluttering, I came across a couple eyeshadow palettes that I used to wear a ton in high school and college and for special events and things like that. And I thought it would be really cool to do a series called Throwback Thursday based around looks that I used to wear when I was in, high school and college, and also just a few specific looks that I've never done videos about that I'd like to remember how I did them. And also sharing what I learned and what I've learned since I've worn those looks, the changes that I've made, because all looks that you do are going to evolve as you learn new tricks. I started using makeup when I was in high school, but I didn't know a whole lot about it, and I never really knew a whole lot about the products until I started watching a lot of YouTube videos, in the last 4 years or so, and I learned a ton of things. So as I go through and do makeup looks, I can talk about the things that I really learned, the different tools that I use, the different products that I use that help make the makeup look better. And I think it's just kind of cool to be able to share those ideas with you. So I never really got into the Throwback Thursday pictures and things like that people do on Instagram and Facebook, but I thought this would be a fun series to kind of be able to share some of those Throwback Thursday ideas with you. And so what I'm going to do is add in some pictures of the specific looks that I have, if I can remember them or if I can find them. Otherwise, I will just be basically telling you the products that I used to use and what I use now and what I do differently, and then kind of showing you the finished look of what it would be now. I wore this look to prom. I think I was actually a sophomore in college when I went to this prom, if I'm remembering correctly, instead of in high school. A lot of my friends were seniors when I was a sophomore in college, and so I had a really good friend that invited me back as his date, and I went as a sophomore in college again. But this was the eyeshadow look that I wore with that, and I really liked this look. I think this is one of my favorite looks that I'd ever done, even though I didn't know a lot about makeup at the time. I really liked my eyeshadow and the look that I put together for that particular prom. So if you want to see this look and you want to see a few Throwback Thursday pictures from me, go ahead and keep on watching. Here's where I'm going to start the look for this week. I'm actually, when I do these looks, not going to go back and do my whole face routine because most of the time my face routines look exactly the same and they take a really long time. So I'm not going to go through and show you all of that. If you want to see my basic face routine, if you want to see one of my older get ready with me's, I will link that below, and that's pretty much the exact same thing that I do. I change out the foundation sometimes, but I will list all the products that I used in the down bar as well. So I'm going to get started with my eyes, and back in the day I wouldn't have used a primer. I didn't know what primers were. I didn't know that there was such a thing, but now I definitely always have to use eye primers because I've realized that my eyeshadow creases all the time if I don't. So I'm actually going to start with the Nars Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, and I'm going to run that over both lids so that I have a nice base for my eyeshadow look. And this I run up to my eyebrows, and I'm actually going to run just under my eyes a little bit too because I am going to smudge eyeshadow underneath my eyes for this look. So I usually prime and let my eyes sit just a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead while those are where my primer is setting a little bit, and I'm going to go in with the YBF Your Best Friend Automatic Eyebrow Pencil. Again, back in the day I never did anything with my eyebrows. My eyebrows looked crazy all the time when I was younger. I look back at pictures even from just a few years ago and look at how crazy my eyebrows were, and I'm really glad I get them waxed now because they're still a little bit on the crazy side, but they look so much better than they ever did before I started waxing and kind of making sure that I took time to do my eyebrows in my makeup routine. I'm going to fill a little bit in this corner because for some reason this corner has been a little bit on the sparse side. And so I'm just going to fill that in. And then I'm going to comb out my eyebrows as well to kind of distribute the product in case any was clumpy or anything like that. Alright, and then I also, something I didn't used to do, go in and set my eyebrows with this is the Anastasia Tinted Brow Gel. All the writing's rubbed off, but this one's actually an Auburn because I got it when I had dyed my hair red this summer, but it still works for my hair color and it's okay, so I still use it because it was expensive. Alright, so now my eyebrows are taken care of and they probably look a ton better now than they used to back in the day. So that's nice at least. I'm now going to go in with a Maybelline Color Tattoo eye base, and this is one in Lavish Lavender. I believe this was limited edition, but it's just a beautiful purpley color. And this is going to make a really good base for the eyeshadow that I'm using because all of this centers around the Maybelline Expert Eyeshadow Quad in Lavender Fields, which no longer exists. There's a very, very similar one. It's almost identical. That's in their new line. I think it's Lavender Smokes it's called instead. But I looked at it online just to double check, and it is pretty much the exact same thing. Alright, so now I have kind of a sticky base to make sure that my eyeshadow is going to stay and be more vibrant and stick to it. And now I'm going to be going in with my eyeshadow. So the eyeshadow that I'm using is this quad here. This is the Maybelline Expert Eyewear Eyeshadow Quad in Lavender Fields, which they don't make anymore. Can you tell how much I loved on this thing? Because it's like broken and destroyed. But this has just such pretty colors. So it's purples and like a light pinky color. Beautiful like mauve colors here. And you can tell I used to really use the little eyeshadow, these things, brushes, whatever you want to call them. And I don't really do that anymore. So when I go to do this, I'm going to be using different brushes because I think it makes a huge difference now that I use them. I don't know why I never used brushes before. Okay. I zoomed in just a little bit so you can see the eyeshadow looks just a little bit better. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on the eyeshadow. And I'm going to be using the Sigma Large Shader Brush, which is the E60, to start off. And I'm going to start off with this color right here, this purple. All over my lid. This was originally, it said lid on it, like these give directions about where you're supposed to put these, which is how I started figuring out how to use multiple eyeshadows. So there's a helpful hint for you. If you are just starting out in makeup, using eyeshadows like this is sometimes really nice because I only prior to that had used one eyeshadow all over my lid for the most part. So knowing that, oh, you could use this here was really helpful for me. I still really, really love this palette though. I think these colors are really pretty. Alright, so that I used all over the lid. Now I'm going to go in with the Sigma Tapered Blending E40 brush, and I'm going to run that into this more shimmery taupey color over here. And run that into my crease because, as it tells me, it's a crease color. I'm gonna admit, up until about 3 years ago, I didn't really know a whole lot about blending. So getting brushes helped in that, and there's still some days that my blending does look a little questionable. I try as hard as I can, but there's still some days it just does not look the best. But I'm sure my makeup looked a little iffy before I learned about this whole blending thing, and that's kind of important. So the next thing I'm going to do is go in with this darkest shade that says Outer Corner. I'm just going to take that same brush and blend this into the outer corner, like it says. Surprise! I feel like that's blended out pretty well. I'm actually going to go in with my finger and take the highlight shade, so this one says Brow Bone, which is just like a pinky, and highlight underneath my brow bone. And then I'm going to go back in with that large shader brush and hit on that purple a little bit more and just make that more vibrant once more because we lost some of the color when we blended. The next thing I'm going to do is go in and highlight my inner corner, and I'm going to be using the Tarte Bright Side Double-Ended Brightener, and I'm using the side that technically says Night. That's more of a pinky tone, and it's got like a little sponge edge to it. I'm just going to run that in the inner corner of my eyes. It blends really nice. It's a similar color to the brow bone color, except it's just a little bit easier to be more precise with this. And I never knew about doing inner corner highlighting before, so this is something I've definitely picked up since I've started watching a lot of YouTube videos. The next thing I'm going to do is go in and line my eyes, so I'm going to use the Urban Decay Glide On Pencil in 0 and line my upper lash line. Had this been the actual prom I was attending, this would have been a CoverGirl like twist up eyeliner that I would have been using because I used that for the longest time. I'm actually going to go in and tightline my eyes too so that my lashes will look a little bit fuller. Next I'm going to go in and I'm going to use the Rimmel Scandaleyes Nude eyeliner, and I'm going to run this into my waterline so that it doesn't look so red and I look a little bit more awake. And then I'm going to go in with the NYX Purple Blaze eyeliner, and this one is a little darker than the colors that are on my eyes, but I feel like it'll help make the colors under my eyes a little bit more vibrant when I smudge over the colors from the palette on top of it. So it helps for that at least, but at least it's a purpley base. And I know that I did do this when I did this look back in high school when I went to this prom, but I definitely didn't use an eyeliner base underneath it, or if I did, it was like a black one, so it wasn't quite as purple, I guess. And then I'm going to go in with the Sigma Pencil E30 brush, and I'm going to start with the crease color and dab my brush in there and run that around the outer edge. And then I'm going to go in with the purple, the one that was on all over the lid, run that underneath. Next thing I'm going to go in and do is curl my eyelashes. Again, definitely wouldn't have done this before. This is something I learned that makes your eyelashes look so much better. And then I'm using a waterproof mascara. This is the Maybelline Rocket Volume Express. And I'm going to use this as the first coat because it's going to hold my curl all night like it would have or should have at prom. Then a trick that I've been working with more recently that I hadn't picked up on until the last few months is layering my mascaras. So I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Smoky Extravagant mascara and layering that on top of the mascara that I just put on for more volume and definition. Alright, so that's it for my eyes. So this is a look that I still do similar looks to all the time, but I learned a lot of tricks about like the bases and the colored bases and primers and eyelash curling and things like that that have made a huge difference. One thing that I probably wouldn't have done when I was in high school was use a black liner and then not put shadow over top of it. Like I used to use black liner and then my eyeshadows would go on top for some reason. I thought that was the order that it went in. It was eyeliner and then eyeshadow. And I learned not to do that because it makes a huge difference in your eyes and the way that they look. It's a lot more dramatic if you do the black liner over the top, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face now. So a lot of these things are things that I wouldn't have done in high school and I only picked up on in the last several years. So the first thing that I would do is to make my face look a little bit thinner and more defined. I'm using a contour color, so I'm using the Hoola bronzer from the I'm using the Hoola bronzer from the Cabana Glamma Benefit box of fun. I'm going to contour the cheekbones, so under the cheekbones. And then around the edges of my face. And down the neck, obviously, so that it all blends. And I actually like to contour just around my nose. I don't do it very precisely like some people do. I just do a very rough contour. Right, and I call the contouring good. Something that I've been doing more recently that makes my blush stay really well is using a cream blush. So I've been using up the Tarte True Love Natural Cheek Stain. And so I use this color and I use a stippling brush. So this is the Real Techniques stippling brush and I just run it over there and then I run it onto my cheeks from there. I don't put it directly onto my cheeks because I feel like it'd be way too intense if I did that. And then I like to run a powder blush on top of that just to make sure that the cream blush is set and it gives the staying power an extra boost with a powder blush. And I run that not too far into my face, but also I run it back towards my hairline too. I just feel like I like that effect a lot better. The next thing that I am going to do that I love the glow that it gives that I wouldn't have given before is using highlight. So again, I use a cream and then a powder for extra staying power. So I use the Benefit High Beam. I'm using this up. It's in my project pan. And honestly, I have to use a Q-tip to get into this thing because there's still product in there and I can't get at it with the brush anymore. So I use a Q-tip to get at the product and apply it from there, which may be weird, but it's what I do right now. And I highlight my cheekbones and then kind of up and around. And I blend that in, and then I highlight down the bridge of my nose and on my Cupid's bow. I forgot to mention which blush I used over top. I used the Tarte Amazonian Clay blush in Dollface, which is just this pretty light pink color, which I think goes pretty nicely with the purple eyeshadow. Over top of the Benefit High Beam, I'm using the e.l.f. Baked Blush in Pinktastic, which is really more of a highlight color. It's a very pinky highlight color, which I think will blend nicely between our blush and our eyeshadow. Lips, I'm going for more of a pinky lip because I think it looks nice with the purple. I honestly have no idea. I cannot remember for the life of me what I would have used when I was in high school, but I'm using the Revlon Lip Butter in Berry Smoothie, which is kind of a sparkly pink. Over that, I'm using the NYX Mega Shine Lip Gloss in Nude Pink. And this just tones it down a tiny bit. So it still stays pretty pink, but it just tones it down a little bit, so it's not too over dramatic. And the last thing that I've learned that is a really smart idea to do when you do your makeup is to add a setting spray. So I use the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray most of the time, and I spray it all over my face. It's usually 5 pumps or so, and it helps make your face look less powdery, but also it helps your makeup stay on really well. Usually I can come home and my makeup is still pretty well on my face, even after a long day of work. Alright, so that is it for my Throwback Thursday look. So this is a look that I wore to prom a while ago. I don't even remember how many years, but I really still like this look. I think it's a fun look, and it's a little bit more dramatic. The purple is a little bit more intense than I would normally do on a day-to-day basis, but I think it's fun, and I always like to wear purples because I feel like it makes my eyes pop. I hope you guys enjoyed this though. I think I'm going to make this a regular series for as long as I can think of looks that I can remember what I used, and as long as I have palettes and things that I want to share with you guys. I think it's a fun idea to share kind of the looks that I used to do and how I've learned and grown with those looks. So I don't know, I just thought it was a fun idea. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video and leave comments and let me know. I would love to see other people's Throwback Thursday videos and see what they used to like and what they used to do and what they've learned from it, because I think it's interesting because I've learned a ton in the last 3 years about makeup. I had no idea about it when I was in high school. I did one eyeshadow, no blush, nothing. So I think it's kind of cool to see how much I've grown from then to now, especially because I can remember a lot of the products that I used. But that's kind of it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.